There's a ton of bad days being an entrepreneur, not to mention 98% of entrepreneurial ventures are gonna fail. You would start the process of changing your perspective, which is about to become unbelievably important to everybody in this room because of the advent of the blockchain. As we are going into this next tier, for the most part, of many people either never knowing anything else, many of us remembering the world before the internet, and watching what it's done over the last 25 years to change our society. If one is to understand the blockchain, and in 1995 when I saw the internet, I realized that my dad's one liquor store needed to be an internet retailer because that's how I was going to help my family business. And even though I didn't own a computer, I launched one of the first e-commerce businesses, and then I did it again with social, and that's kind of how I've navigated. What the blockchain will do, especially in NFT form on top of Ethereum, is create a world that will eat up all of the contracts. This talk is kind of really interesting because it reminds me of a talk, a little bit of a different timing, but I gave a talk to the limo and car industry right as Uber was happening. And the majority of my talk was about Uber in the first 15 minutes. And as you can imagine, the crowd didn't like it.
When you're trying to become successful, you have to let those people know what you're doing and how you're going to do it. Because becoming successful is not easy. It's incredibly challenging, and you have to understand that you need to let people know what you're doing and how you're going to do it. So that way they can sit back, watch, and enjoy. Because when you show people what you're doing, and they're not going to believe you. They're not going to understand that you're trying to go out there and accomplish your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. They don't understand what it's like to feel motivated and go out there and chase their dreams and chase their goals because they just say they want to be successful. They don't actually go out there and make anything happen. So when you're on your journey, you have to make sure that you're letting those people know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what you're about to do to prove them wrong. Because so many people are going to claim that you can't be successful in that way. You're not going to be able to make it happen because they haven't been able to make it happen. But it's all in their mind, not in yours. So you have to understand that you are your biggest ally, and you're the only one who's going to make anything happen in your journey to success. Because not anybody is going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it all for yourself because people aren't out there to help you become successful. When you're trying to become successful, it's going to be all on you to make it happen. So many people get stuck waiting for somebody else to do it for them, when in actuality, nobody's going to come save them because it's all on you. You have to make all of it happen because you are the only person trying to become successful for you. You're not trying to become successful for others and them not for you.
I believe the human race is so grossly underrated. We are good. Of course we have some bad, there's 7 billion of us. But like when you look at our net score, like do you know how much damage we could be doing to each other on an hourly basis and we don't? Like we're still here. Like we won. We're the alpha being and we've figured out how to stay together. This is insane when you think about it. If you actually get into that mindset, it gets real good. Like everybody makes these big deals out of things that just don't matter. It's perspective. You know, my selfishness comes from my selflessness. I went into my family business because I felt like I owed it to pay them back. Those are my parents. So if that's what I feel about them, what do you think I think about everybody else? You know, people were in it because they were really good at it, or in it, or really passionate. Right now, everybody thinks that if you're 22 and you have an idea, you're entitled to a startup. And so the thing that's been really fascinating for me to watch, the dichotomy of structure and understanding how to play the game versus entrepreneurship, being a dick about it, I know I'm sitting in a room full of number 2s, 3s, and 4s. The difference for me between a 2, 3, and 4 and a 1 is having a stomach. And so one of the things that we've seen a lot of, because Zucks went to Harvard and literally being East Coast bound, watching all these kids that are going to Ivy League schools, including Stanford, so mixing the whole mix, just actually everybody's a better student than I was, so I'll just call it everybody. Watching the elite top 3%, so many of those players, guys and gals, have come into the game in the last 24, 36 months and have lived a narrative where things have been good, right? Again, I'm using a lot of prejudice. I default into thinking that you guys were way more capable than me than figuring out how to map yourselves to go through the school system, you understood that game. When I think about anything I buy, it's 100% for me. Even all the tchotchkes, the thrill of finding them at a garage sale, or the one thing I actually buy that I think is silly is custom New York Jets jerseys, but it's so for me. And I'm happy that I don't buy things for other people's opinions, but I think most people do. if they saw the world in a different way and did something as practical and as out of left field in at least today's popular society as selling their home, getting back that equity, moving in with their folks for a couple of years and reestablishing. One of the big things that I'm passionate about is, are you doing something you enjoy to do?
If you want to see more videos like these, please consider subscribing for more.